Guys, this remains a high-profile case, and it's fair to say that everyone's feeling for you both at the moment, but they really can't walk a mile in your shoes because it's not happening to them. In your words, how horrendous has this process been?
I think there are words. It's the never-ending nightmare. We wake up, we just relive it. I just can't believe it's happened. We just don't have our boy. We have no idea where he is. We don't know who's got him. We don't know what's happening to him. We know nothing about it. We just want it to be over.
That's part of the battle, isn't it? One minute he's there, next minute he's vanished.
It was.
Yep.
It was just, it's surreal. I'm living somebody else's world. I'm in somebody else's life.
It is like living a nightmare.
You wake up and it's just always here. You go about your normal day, it's just always there. It's never away from you. It's constant.
Because you can't extinguish that love for your boy.
Never.
And you're caring parents, you're wondering, is he okay?
Never. And we have to watch his sister learn to play and learn to be an only child. It's heartbreaking.
When did you guys last see him?
That morning, on the 12th, at Mum's place.
Tends about 10:15.
No.
And can you just give a bit of a background? What was he doing? He's at his grandparents' place?
Well, we'd gone up to visit Mum and Dad. Well, Mum, because Dad had passed away. I keep calling it Mum and Dad's. We'd gone to visit. It was a surprise visit. And
We left early.
we left early the night before. Surprised them, surprised Nana.
Can you tell us what William was doing at his Nana's place?
He was playing. He was having fun. He was
In his Spider-Man outfit.
in his Spider-Man outfit playing Daddy Tiger. I mean, it was just, it was fun. It was just normal.
He was doing what he would normally do.
And it was a surprise visit to Nana's, wasn't it?
Yeah. We'd actually planned to go on the Friday, but we ended up on the Thursday leaving earlier. And it was a surprise for Mum, and it was a surprise for the kids to go before, because they love going to Nana's, and it was a complete surprise.
So the kids had no idea either.
None.
It was
None.
Yep.
They were over the moon. We told them in the car once we'd picked them up, and they were screaming with delight.
Yep.
So we get to do something special, which is stop at McDonald's on the way, which we don't normally do. And it's just an adventure. It was just a family going to see family.
And when you arrived, the kids no doubt jumped out of the car and raced to see
Yeah.
Nana.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's a really happy family environment.
Yeah.
Just as exciting for Nana as it was for the kids.
Yeah.
She loves seeing the kids.
Yeah.
And when did things start to go awry?
Well, when I realised that William was missing, I think back to that moment where I just went, I can't hear him. Why can't I hear him? And I walked around. Seriously, it was just 2 metres, 3 metres away from where we were sitting, and I've just walked out and I just see nothing. I see nothing. I hear nothing. I'm speechless. I'm walking around in a circle on the spot thinking, where is he? Why can't I see him? And I'm yelling out, William, where are you? You need to talk to Mummy. Tell me where you are. I can't see you. I can't hear you. Where are you? And he was nowhere. And I'm just standing there thinking, how could he just disappear? Because he just disappeared. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Did you think initially that, kids being kids and he's in a Spider-Man outfit, he's probably climbing trees? Or
It's not William.
No?
It's not William.
Why not? Why isn't it him?
He doesn't do that. In that morning, before he went missing, I put him into a tree, because Mum's got some great climbing trees. He was in it, but he was like, oh, Mummy, too high, get me down.
Right.
So, and I said to him, why don't you try? And he said, no, Mummy, too high, get me down. So I got him down. So he wouldn't be in a tree. It's not in him.
Because he's sort of the child that would sort of pick a spot to play in and stay there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And he'd stay within distance, knowing how far away he was from us at any given point in time.
Yeah. He always had us in earshot or eyesight, or
he'd do the check-in.
Yeah.
He'd come back around from a corner or checking out a spot and come and just check how far away it was and wave at you and just do the check-in.
Make sure you're still there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a wanderer,
No.
not a child to run away. He just, whilst he's got a really good sense of adventure, but he's got a really good understanding of his limitations.
Yep.
He's not a kid that would just run into something and he would stop and think. He would consider what he would do before he would do anything else.
Smart little boy.
Yeah.
Not spontaneous.
No.
Like that.
Oh, he's spontaneous in terms of humour and fun.
Sort of
No.
So in that case, when you sort of looked around the grounds for him and couldn't find him, you would have thought something's not right.
I thought that immediately. I had a vision in my head. I don't know why, but I have a vision in my head. Somebody, I can't explain it. Somebody reached over and I sort of feel like they've gone clump on his shoulders, picked him up and moved him on, because to me that's the only way, it's the only way I can explain for him not to be there. I don't get it. How can a little boy, how can a 3-year-old boy just vanish into nothing? Because that's exactly what it was like.
I think it's fair to say the community's asked that very question, and particularly on a semi-rural property. Kids don't just disappear.
No, they don't.
No.
They don't. No. My brothers have brought their kids up around there. They would run those streets with absolutely no fear. Every other house on that street with kids, those kids are on that street with absolutely no fear. There's no reason for them not to be safe at Nana's house.
So you raised the alarm pretty well immediately?
Well, I raced around for a bit and went down and got the neighbour to help, then came back because he had a meeting.
I'd had a meeting and I arrived back and there was a little bit of confusion as to whether William was with me, because
I thought maybe
he's always looking out for me in my car,
yeah.
And I was on my way back and I'd arrived back and I'd been asked if was William with me, and I said no, and then I immediately got out of the car and started looking around, and then within about 5 minutes we raised the alarm, and I think I ran the perimeter of the whole street within about 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's not a wanderer. He would not even cross a street by himself.
No.
He wouldn't go far.
Parents know their own kids, don't they?
Yeah, he wouldn't do it. He just wouldn't do it. It's not in him. Even if somebody was to entice him across the road, he wouldn't do it.
He'd be very reluctant. He
would have run back. It's just not in his character to just go blindly with people. And I know, every mother says that about their child, and I realise that kids can be tempted. I understand that completely. William's personality was, I'm interested, but I'm cautious. Like, he didn't trust freely. Like,
so he's not just going to jump on
can't see him. No. I can't see him doing it.
No, he was cautious. He'd cower away, as little children would normally do. But he had this instinct about him about doing the right and the wrong thing.
Yeah.
It's a tough question, but when did you first suspect abduction?
In my mind, it was immediate, because there was no way in the world William would have gone into that bush. It's too thick. There's lantana all through it. There is no way in the world he would have gone into that bush.
And being a cautious boy, as you said, he's going to think twice about doing it.
It was in my head, and even when I was talking with Mum while we were waiting, and I was doing the frantic thing around running through the house and opening up cupboards and all sorts of stuff, I just kept going in my head, somebody's taken him. I can't. In my mind, it was the only logical explanation for what could have happened.
A child in that situation, in that circumstance, in those surrounds, would not just disappear into thin air. I mean, I have my doubts. I didn't know what to believe at the time, especially in the first hour or two. I didn't know what to believe, but I guess my mind was wandering as to what could have happened to him. But I just had to keep on going and have the support of the community around us that were also looking for him. The police were on scene within minutes, which was absolutely fantastic. But I didn't know what to believe.
But in that community, you don't expect someone to take a child. I mean, seriously, it's a tiny community. Everybody knows each other in around those streets. There's complete trust. I'm astounded that there could be somebody living there or people living there that could do this. It's not the place where you'd expect it in the city. You'd expect abductions in the city. You don't expect to hear about abductions in Kendall. And out of my mum's street. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
I was going to ask that. A parent would be extra cautious in Sydney.
Yeah.
But you'd probably let your guard down and be a bit disarmed in a quiet neck of the woods like that. Do you feel that, do you feel betrayed that someone within that community has potentially kidnapped a child?
I don't think it's somebody from the community. I think it's someone who doesn't have a history there. I think it's... I'm saying if. I mean, I don't know for sure. I can't see a true local who knows my mum, who knows us and knows our family, choosing to take our child. I can't see that. And if that's the case, then I feel so sorry for that community, because that is absolutely disgraceful and nobody can trust a soul. That's not the community of Kendall. No. People trust each other there.
Dad, do you feel the same way?
Oh, absolutely. I think the community's probably going through just as tough a time as we are, because there are so many families there with young children that are now changed their lives as well, and the impact that that's actually had on them for I don't know what period of time, but it is disgraceful.
I'd like to just have a bit of a chat about William himself. He's such a vibrant kid, and I suppose every parent like myself has seen that photo of him in the Spider-Man outfit, and it just tears at the heartstrings, like you not knowing. What do you see when you look at that photograph?
Because I took the photo. I took 3 photos. I do photo books of what we do as a family every year. So every time we go somewhere, I have my camera and I just take pictures of what they're doing. And I thought, Mum's getting old. It'd be really good for William and his sister to have memories of being at Mum's. And my dad passed away in February that year, so that was really the first time we'd been back since Dad had passed away. And we were going to go and visit Dad's grave, and they were drawing some pictures to put on his grave. They were sending some messages to Opar and things like that. And I just thought, I wanted to take some pictures of that. So I look at that picture and I remember what we were doing and why we were doing it. I remember William just being absolutely beside himself with happiness at being at Nana's house. I remember the discussion I had with William about putting on his Spider-Man clothes because I wanted him to wear a singlet. He didn't want to wear a singlet, so the compromise was he'd wear a Spider-Man t-shirt underneath his Spider-Man clothes, so he was Spider-Man'd out completely. All these little things that I just remember. It was just a normal family doing normal family things with their grandmother. An appointment, which is not unusual. He works remotely. We were waiting for him to come home, and then we were going to go and visit Dad's grave. Then we were going to go out and have... So we'd planned the day. And I look at that picture and I just think, minutes, and our world has changed. His sister no longer has a brother. We no longer have a son. We no longer have a child. We no longer have our boy. My mum is coping with her own grief because it happened at her house. It's just awful.
She can't blame herself.
No, she doesn't. Oh, I hope she doesn't, but no, she can't.
What sort of boy is William? So you just mentioned he was cautious, yet
he's
still
vibrant,
has an adventurous streak.
Vibrant. He's the cheeky, vibrant little boy, but full of energy, but loves interacting with his sister. He loved interacting with us. I mean, he's my little boy. I mean, I see that photo and it just brings me to tears.
They're pretty cheeky at that age, aren't
they? Very cheeky, but also that they've got that love, and the father and boy love that he had. It was just.
It's raw, isn't it? They run up to the fierce hugs. And
and he adored his dad. just absolutely. His eyes and there was a smile. Like, I look at back at some of the pictures, and I look at pictures when William was smiling for me, and I look at pictures where William was smiling for his dad, and it's different.
Daddy's little boy.
Oh, completely. They adored each other, absolutely adored each other, and it's heartbreaking.
What were his likes, Dad? What would he like to do? You know, is he a superhero?
Anything that related to Spider-Man. He loved Spider-Man. He loved planes. And you know, we'd even take him to the airport and watch the planes take off and land. I mean, I guess they pick up on the things that you like as well. But yeah, anything that related to Spider-Man and superheroes and those sorts of things he loved.
And we'd got him a bike for his birthday, so we'd all go bike riding together. And he was just in heaven. We've got pictures of William riding this bike, and there is just unbridled joy just over his face. He was just free, and he was really good. Just racing. Just wanted to get on that bike and just ride it.
It's a rhetorical question. No one knows the answers at the moment, but what do you think has happened to William?
It's a hard question. I think that if I could answer it by saying that, I mean, I think I trod those grounds myself for 3 or 4 days, you know, every morning until almost nightfall. We had Polair, we had police from all around, we had, you know, SES, we had the community. If he was out there in the bush, he would have been found.
Yeah.
Which, you know, as I was walking through the bush with other people, it became more aware to me as time went on that this is not a normal event. This is not a child gone missing in the bush. This is heading down the path of abduction or something more sinister. That's what I believe. I truly believe now, and I still pray to this day that I still believe strongly that he's alive.
You can't give up hope, can you? I mean, you read about those cases overseas in America where, you know, 10 years later they're rescued or whatnot.
If somebody has him, and if he is alive, I want him to be safe. I want him to be feeling loved, and I want someone to be looking after him. Because to imagine that something else is going on, we can't live a life like that.
It's not right for him.
We need to know where he is, and we need to know what happened to him. Because we can't live forever like this. His sister can't grow up never knowing what happened to her brother.
If someone does have him, what message would you say to them right now?
Just give him back.
Do the right thing.
Give him back. Take him to a church.
Drop
take
him
him to
off.
a police station. Take him to a school. Give him to someone. Bring him back.
In the same vein, if someone knows about, you know, the intricate parts of this what would you say to them if they haven't come forward? For some reason they're scared or they feel aligned to somebody that's directly involved. What would you say to them?
It's time to do something. It's time to say something.
There are too many people whose hearts are breaking here. If you don't care about us, care about William's sister.
Yeah.
Care about his family. Care about the people who have to grow up with this, never knowing. He has a sister that's going to permanently be identified as someone who was the sister of the little boy who's missing. It's not fair.
No.
It's not fair. Think about the children. It's, you know, it doesn't have to be about us. It's about the children, and it's about William.
And it doesn't have to end this way if he is still alive. As my wife said, drop him off.
Just take him somewhere.
About doing the right thing, isn't it?
Exactly.
Yep.
You can't take children. You just can't take children. He's 3.
He's 3 years old. He's only lived for 3 years. It's ridiculous.
He hasn't started life.
He hasn't. He hasn't started. He hasn't gone to school. He hasn't. He can sort of count. Like he's reached none of those milestones that we all take for granted. And we watch his sister go through all these stages. We watch her learn new skills. We watch her create more friends. We watch her grow. We can't. You want that for your children. They have a future.
Often people may have seen something that they don't think is totally relevant, or they dismiss it as being a minor part of the equation. What would you say to those people who may have the slightest bit of information but are yet to come forward?
Say something to police straight away.
Yeah.
Say something, because what they say or what they potentially bring is another piece to the puzzle that can at least get us closer to an outcome. And I said before, yeah, praying for a miracle for him to return alive, but praying for an outcome so that at least we can know what's happened to him. That's the goal at the end of the day.
I suppose the other thing too is if they don't come forward, or even the person who might be very close to whoever's done this, if they don't come forward, you don't want this happening to anyone else.
No.
You don't want this person striking again.
Yeah.
No.
You said right at the beginning, walk a mile in our shoes. You can't walk a mile in our shoes unless it's actually happened.
Yep.
And I don't think any parent anywhere deserves to walk a mile in our shoes. It shouldn't happen. It just should not happen.